Mr. Trudeau's government, where they would bring in individuals from the private sector and ask them to advise cabinet, and these individuals are executives with global everything companies. And they're able to give this advice. They're not registered meetings, but they have these private interests that, of course, are going to be reflected in the advice they provide, and Canadians are completely in the dark about that. It's with chairmen and chief executives, and they claimed then that it was of high service to Canada, but certainly it also creates a real problem for Canadians about why the advice is being provided.
Well, of course, I'm a great believer in transparency. Currently, the scenario that you're giving me is not covered under the Lobbying Act, and I think that's something that does need to be looked at.
Do you think that the Act in its current form captures influence peddling when you have unpaid individuals?
If you're unpaid, the Lobbying Act doesn't cover it.
So
currently.
It's a class of shadow lobbyists.
If you want to give names to it, but I'm not in that business. So if I'm just telling you the Lobbying Act does not apply currently, and so it should be transparent. And I do believe if there's payment involved, then it should be, but if there is absolutely no payment, it's a requirement now under the Lobbying Act.
So this is the situation that we have with, pardon me for the interruption, that we have with these meetings that were listed. These CEOs, of course, are not going to be registered to lobby. They're not going to have been paid to be there in the capacity of lobbyists. The very same as Mr. Carney when he was the chair of Brookfield. He was brought in unpaid, but had these personal interests. And so these are shadow lobbyists that we have, and it's a massive loophole, the Carney loophole, and we think it needs to be closed.
There has been questions put to my office in relation to sometimes consultative committees, for example. I'm of the view that for certain CEOs, but for their current employment with their corporation or organization, they wouldn't be sitting at that table. And I have said to them that those need to be registered.